Sorry.
Hey.
Ready? How many evil looks can you give me? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad to be here finally after a year and a half. We want you to know your soul is welcome here, and so are your buddies. Sing about it. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. My body and soul, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul.
Welcome here. Oh, my soul.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I get the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. 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 Yes, it is. My soul. Oh, my body and soul. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my body and soul is welcome here.
All righty. Your souls are welcome here. My goodness gracious alive. It's good to be here.
Good morning. This is Reverend James Trapp. I'm Reverend Deborah Phillips. Happy Father's Day, Reverend James.
Thank you.
And happy Father's Day to all of you out there and out there. But we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this ministry, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center celebrates and honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course, the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no spot that God is not. And if this is your very first time with us today, we especially want to welcome you, whether you are watching us online or you're here in the sanctuary, because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're just really excited to be back. And of course, since we're here in the sanctuary, that whole thing of silence your electronic devices is in effect. Please do it.
Some things never change. Well, let's take a moment and connect with the presence. And this time we send a special prayer and loving energy to our beloved Larry, who was here at the first service but got no news that her beloved pet, Astro, had to go in the emergency room. So we send them some divine loving and healing and comforting energy. And to all those who need any support, we know that the Spirit of the living God is always on the field, waiting for us. And the only thing we have to do is be open and receptive to receiving the good that is there for us at all times. We're indeed welcome here. We're welcome here because we are an expression of the presence and the power and the love of pure spirit. And this presence and all of us are one in consciousness, one in the spirit. We're connected on a soul level and on that spiritual level. And as we recognize that, then anything that we do it with the highest and best intention, because whatever we send out, we keep. So we're blessed to be here today. We're grateful today. We're grateful that we're still on this journey of upward movement in life. And we recognize that we are here to be the expressions of the presence of God in our own unique ways wherever we happen to be. For God needs us. This presence needs us to shine its light. And we do it to the best as we can and know that Spirit will provide the increase along the way. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth multiplying, activating, and radiating the all good. Amen. And so it is. Here at Spiritual Life Center, we seek to carry out our following mission and invite you to join in as we say these words. We transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we live these 5 basic principles to the very best that we can. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
I believe Paula has a special announcement for us.
I do. So I have some very exciting and exciting news tinged with some sadness. So you want the exciting part first? Well, the exciting news is that our beloved bassist Paul, he sold his condo in Sacramento, and he purchased basically a little mansion.
An estate.
An estate. He purchased an estate in Flintstone, Tennessee, on 11 and a half acres with a barn and a pool house and a full rental apartment in the basement. And the sad part, today's his
Yeah,
last
he wants
day.
to live there?
He's going to go live there. I mean, that's sad for us. That's not sad for him. So today we are saying welcome back and farewell, our dear friend. So let us give Paul, Ann and I, we already have on the calendar when we're going to go visit. And he told us, he said, just find the guy with the keys, the groundskeeper. He said, that'll be me. So let's stand and give him a warm SLC blessing. Paul, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold God's love as you. Blessings on your journey, my friend.
Blessings.
Bass players must make pretty good money then.
This one does.
So a deep gratitude for all of those who celebrated the Gender Bender Bingo last night. And we especially want to thank Bob Cochran for sponsoring the bingo winner prizes, which were made possible by the sale of his new book. And Bob has donated something like, 55 books to SLC that we will be able to sell at 100% profit. They will be here at the end of June, so you'll be able to purchase the book on July 4th, and it is a really amazing book. Thank you, Bob, for helping support SLC.
Yes, thank you, Bob. Thank you. Well, as you know, we've moved to another, phase of this whole experience we've been through over the last Has it been 15 months? Sometimes it feels like 15 years, but it's been a while. The board met last Thursday as we got the newest policy COVID guidelines from the state. So we aligned with what came out of our California Department of Health, as well as California's, I think, OSHA department. So as you can see, no social distancing. Face covering is optional for those who are vaccinated. You just decide. Self-attest is what they call it, but we call it personal responsibility. I invite you to see the signs, look at our website for all the details. Our youth is aligning with the state guidelines for the schools, even though we thought there was a question of whether or not it applied to churches, just to keep it consistent. That's where we are. And if you prefer social distance seating, we still have some in the back. I don't know if that's necessary, but we made that available. But look at the website for details as we continue on this journey upward and onward of living life to the best that we can.
And just a word of gratitude to the Board of Trustees, because there were a lot of meetings and a lot of discussion, and they piled through a whole lot of legal documents. So thank you so much, Board of Trustees, for your work. And as we all know, and as evidenced by this, SLC is an evolving community, which means we're open to new ways of doing things. And this is where the Evolutionary Council comes in. The council is composed of volunteer community members who take the pulse of the community and capture your feedback through programs like Heart to Heart that we did, 20 years ago? Seems like. And town halls. And this feedback helps us discover what our new steps are. On July 18th, the EC, we'll host a town hall where you can ask questions, make suggestions, and feel heard. But they also have a table today, so you can go out there and you can meet members of the Evolutionary Council and get more information about the town hall.
Very good. And we want to acknowledge any chaplains or board members here this morning. I know we had, yes, if you just stand, yes, we got a plethora of chaplains and board members here this morning. As they stand, we acknowledge the board members that are here. I don't know if they have their purple ribbons on, but we thank them for their service. And they're helping us guide as we move forward through our evolution as a community. And the prayer chaplains are wearing their stoles as they usually do and are available to pray with you right after the service here in the sanctuary or in the courtyard. So thank you for your presence and thank you for your consciousness.
And if you're with us for the very first time today, we're going to ask you to raise your hand in a moment. But first, we want you to know that there are many opportunities where you can become connected here at SLC. You can fill out the welcome card online at slcworld.org, or you can, if you're in the sanctuary and you get the card, you can take it out to the welcome table, and they have a very special welcome and a very special gift for you.
So, if you are here, any first-timers here today? Any first-timers? Yes, raise your hand. I see George raising his hand. He's new for the first time, but keep your hand up nice and high because we're going to give you, I believe, a purple ribbon. We have any folks giving out the purple ribbons this morning?
I think they're on it out there.
They're on it. So just kind of keep your hand up a little bit, and we invite you to raise your hand, keep it up, and when you get your ribbon, wear it on your left side near your heart, and we can give you that special spiritual life-centered greeting, and you'll benefit from that consciousness that we offer you. So we thank you for joining us today on your unique path, and we appreciate your presence and the divine love that you are and that we all are today. And with that, I invite us to all stand, and you can just greet each other in a way that's comfortable for you, whatever works.
Stay standing. And please join us in a new group song.
I think that you've heard us perform this before, but we're going to ask you to join us on this song, A World That Works for Everyone. Please join me in singing. We are creating a world that works for everyone. Yes, we're amazing, and we've just begun to feel the power and freedom to be who we came here to be, as we discover each other and celebrate humanity. We are creating a world that works for everyone. Yes, times are changing. It's a love revolution as we are walking together. Love is leading the way through the fields of compassion to a world that works for everyone. To a world that works for everyone. Dance break. As we are walking together, love is leading the way through the fields of compassion to a world that works for everyone. To a world that works for everyone. Please be seated. Great job,
I
everyone.
think that works for a group song. You did a wonderful job on that. I like that. Now, as we move into our meditation portion of the service, we're going to speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And as we gather together for the first time in so long, I thought it would be very appropriate for us to sing our mission statement together.
Please join me in singing.
to hear you sing. Why have we? Why have we come to love, serve and remember, 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 to love, serve and remember.
As we settle into this time of quiet, breathe naturally. Simply become aware of how you relax with each breath. Melt into your seat. Breathe into the back of your heart and allow your vision to become soft and cloudy. And gently shift your consciousness to the center of your chest and greet your heart. Imagine a small ball of white light just behind your heart. As you breathe in, the ball expands, and when you exhale, it deflates just a little bit. And as you continue to breathe, the ball expands and contracts, and you experience this white light as a living, breathing presence within you. Open yourself to fully encounter this light. White light is the instrument of peace. Feel peace. See peace. Taste peace. Hear peace. Smell peace. Become peace. Your white light expands to fill your torso. White light is an instrument of love. Feel love. See love. Taste love. Hear love. Smell love. Become love. Your white light expands to fill your entire body. White light is the instrument of harmony. And so you feel harmony. You can see harmony. Taste harmony. Hear harmony. Smell harmony. Become harmony. And your white light expands up into your head. White light is an instrument of joy. Feel joy. See joy. Taste joy. Hear balance. Hear joy. Smell joy. Become joy. And now your white light expands beyond your physical body. White light is an instrument of knowing. Feel knowing. See knowing. Taste the knowing. Hear knowing. Smell knowing. Become knowing. Your white light encompasses and fills you. White light is an instrument of compassion. Feel compassion. See compassion. Taste compassion. Hear compassion. Smell compassion. Become compassion. Your white light expands in all directions into infinity. You are filled, immersed, overflowing. Your light meets and blends with the light of the worlds. You are light. Light is you. We are light. Light is us. In this awareness, celebrate and dance with your light being, with all the light beings, in the silence. The joy of oneness overflows as you take a few breaths and begin your journey back to your physical body as you receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, when you expand your heart light to the instruments of peace, love, harmony, joy, knowing, and compassion, you join in the ever-loving, ever-evolving, eternal light of all that is, and you are made whole and complete. And you can do this whenever you choose. Remember this, always.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, till we don't Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace.
I didn't want it to end. I wanted to keep sitting there and just let a hand go on and on and on. And on and on and on. Ah, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. And we can add, make me an instrument of your joy. And I would say today is a joyous day. I don't know about you. It's a joyous day. It's wonderful just to be alive. It's wonderful to be with you. It's wonderful to have a music team that's playing live music. It's also wonderful to be part of a theology of joy. I always say that, if your God is not a God of joy, please get another God. Because there's lots of theisms. There's lots of theologies. But we have a theology of joy that can become part of our soul because we're connected with the one presence, the one power, the one reality. We call it by many different names: God, pure spirit, the Father, Mother, God, presence. But whatever we call it, when we're in league with it, it simply takes over our life. And joy becomes the evidence of the fact that we're connected to this unalterable presence. So we celebrate today so many different things, but particularly today we celebrate Father's Day. And say happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are here and online. But I also mentioned in the early service, celebrate all the mothers who have played the role of fathers, because many have played both of them over a period of time. So we thank you for taking on that task and responsibility and showing the way and modeling possibilities. As I was thinking about what to share today, I was recalling a line from the first John when it said, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And then later on it says, "And the Word became flesh," it became real. And of course, whenever we read any kind of scripture, any kind of holy text, whether it's the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, or anything of that nature, it's important that we put ourselves in the picture because it's saying something about us, our life. Because it says in the Hebrew Bible, in Genesis, the first chapter, that we're made in the image and likeness and out of this presence we call God. So we say that the living word is actually within all of us. And another way we can say that we are a composite idea. In other words, all the ideas that God is, we are. So if somebody ever asks you, who do you think you are? God's gift to the world? Your answer is yes, absolutely. No question about it. Because I have all the qualities of this infinite presence within me. All the qualities that God is, we are. Instrument of peace, as we were just hearing. Love, joy, abundance, perfect guidance, wisdom. And our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to bring it out, to manifest it, to demonstrate it in and as our life and in our world. You know, this part of spirituality known as truth or metaphysics is viewed as a technology or science of problem solving. And one of the chief teachings and tenets of it is the secret of demonstration. It's not just something that is kind of airy-fairy, but how can we demonstrate what we say we believe in our world? And if I were to take a poll of many folks that come to places such as Spiritual Life Center or those of similar ilk, probably most of them came because there was some sort of challenge or problem or something that they went through. Maybe they had a problem like myself where my life collapsed. Everything around me because of my addictions and riotous living, and then there was only me in the presence of God, and I didn't know anywhere else to turn, and somehow through the grace of Spirit, a friend invited me to go to a place called Unity. But others may have a health challenge. Maybe there's a relationship challenge. You just went through a divorce or something like that. Or maybe a loved one that was very close passed away. Or maybe they had business or financial setbacks. Or just life just was not working at that moment. And we're looking for an answered prayer, looking for some sort of demonstration. And then maybe the situation was handled. You were able to work through that, navigate through that, get to the other side. And sometimes we think that's the answered prayer or the demonstration, but that is only the beginning of the journey. And just as we have food is not just for the purpose to stave off starvation, there's something bigger. And I always say, why be rich? Why be healthy? Why have any of all the things that we have if that we're not using it for a bigger purpose? We have a specific reason for being here. And because we're made in the image and likeness of this presence out of God, we have a divine appointing, a divine commission, an ordaining to be about expressing the qualities of God in our life and in our world. You know, there's a story in the Bible in which Jesus went to the festival of the Passover. He was a youngster at the time. And he had been there with his parents for about, several days going through whatever they do at the Passover during that time. And then they was heading back home. His parents and everyone else, I guess, in the caravan, they had traveled for like 3 days. And then all of a sudden, boom, they asked, where's little Jesus? He ain't here. So they had to go back and travel another 3 days. And they saw him. He was in the temple. And he was, asking some incisive questions of all the rabbis and showing his precociousness. And his mother came up to him and said, don't you know you have sent us through a whole bunch of distress? We were so worried about you. Why did you do this? And Jesus' response was, don't you know I must be about my Father's business. I must be about my Father's business. And I've come to understand, and we talked about the Father presence, he's not talking about gender. He's talking about an aspect of God. He was talking about the yang aspect of God, where there must be demonstration, there must be a manifestation. The feminine aspect of God, which is within all of us, is about the tender hovering over the spiritual idea. It holds it, it sees it, it feels it, and then that idea must be expressed. It must manifest, it must be demonstrated. It has to take shape and become visible in our world. We have to demonstrate it. So today I'm just talking about honoring the Father aspect of God, the formula of demonstration. It's not original to me. I originally got it from a Unity minister by the name of Eric Butterworth in New York. And I learned a great deal from him over time. Earlier in my career, even before I became a minister, he got me really interested in this work. And he devised a formula on how we can manifest or demonstrate our desires. And he called his formula the master formula of demonstration. The master formula of demonstration. And what he said is that whatever you can conceive in your mind, whatever you can believe in your heart to be a reality, you can achieve and actualize in and as your life. And the shorthand of it was that C plus B equals A. C plus B equals A. And he said it all starts with the desire to evolve from where we are to where we want to be. But we first have to answer an important question. What do we really desire? What do we really desire on a spiritual level? You know, oftentimes, genuine desire is not based upon what we want on a human consciousness level. That's on the surface. You know, human consciousness level looks like, you know, I want to be a millionaire. Or if you're a millionaire, you feel you're missing out, so I want to be a billionaire. Or you might want to say, you know, I want to live forever. And as I was singing earlier, that song from Fame, oh, I got to live forever. Something to that effect. Anyway. You don't remember. Or maybe, you know, the human part says, you know, I want to be tall, dark, and handsome. Or you just want to be tall if you're already dark and handsome. All of that comes from human consciousness. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to demonstrate and materialize more than that. And that's okay at times to do that on a human level. But we want to understand there's a difference between materializing or that, which is a form of demonstration, and spiritual demonstration. We're all materializing something all the time, whether we're visualizing it consciously or unconsciously, and ultimately it begins to take place in our life and our life experience. So everyone, all of us are always materializing something, our things in our life, our circumstances in our life. And like I said, some of it we do it consciously. We're setting this law of mind and action in motion that we call it. We may put pictures in the world and around us and visualize and do visualizations, and these things begin to unfold in our life. But spiritual demonstration is something else. Spiritual demonstration means that we're in league with a divine blueprint. We're in league with a spiritual pattern. As we're demonstrating, we're coming into more and more of who and what we are as spiritual beings. With every spiritual demonstration, there's involved a clear realization of our oneness with God. You know, oftentimes people are materializing things, and they don't feel any closer to the presence of God than before the thing appeared in their life. You know? They get a lot of stuff, and then things, you know, becomes more complicated. They don't really necessarily feel more connected. You know, like I mentioned that my son was taking a year off from college because of, you know, the pandemic. And so he'd been working on some, you know, hip-hop music. And, you know, we turned the room into a studio. So we've been watching some videos about the evolution of hip-hop. And there's one guy named Biggie Smalls, and he came from a little nowhere and became really big in New York before he met his untimely death. But he had a line in there. He said, you know, all this stuff I've got in my life, but I realized more money, more problems. More money, more problems. And he realized that that's not spiritual demonstration. Spiritual demonstration is a surrendering, a seeing, a hearing, a listening, an obeying and yielding and declaring that this is the way the day that the Lord has made. And we're here to rejoice in it and allowing that love of God to be anchored within us and expressed as us. So the first step in demonstration formula is conceiving, which is releasing and that divine pattern within us. You know, just as the oak tree is already in the acorn, there's something within us waiting to be expressed that we want to tap into. So we're not holding on to this desire as a goal, like we're an empty vessel waiting to be filled up. We're not an empty vessel. We're filled with the presence and the qualities of God. Now, I know sometimes we talk to people, we know that they're filled full of something, not necessarily the presence of God in our minds, but they always are. And that Father, Mother, God presence knows what we need of even before we ask. We just have to remember who and what we are. And if we ever have temporary amnesia, we simply ask or simply state to this presence, show me who I am. And I don't care how magnificent it is. I don't care how wonderful it is. I don't care how beautiful it is. I don't care how peaceful it is. Bring it on. Show me who I am so I can do and be what I've intended to be. That all kinds of material stuff will begin to show up. All kinds of demonstrations will begin to show up because we went there first to who and what we are. You know, I was talking to a person who was, at least in the relationship department, was being rebuffed over and over again. And she began to ask that question about, you know, show me who I am. And she began to understand that her relationship was to that divine flow and expression of love itself. And her true desire was to realize her oneness with God, her oneness with a divine companionship, her oneness with peace and divine love. And then what happened, there was a demonstration. Because what showed up was a friend. What showed up was a companion. But it wasn't that individual doing anything. It was just the activity of God being awakened in her awareness. So this desire that we talk about and starts with that C is the conception. Conceive it. Connect with that true desire. And that's the first step. Then there's the B in the formula for demonstration. You know, B is believing in the power of our mind. You know, like first we see it, we conceive that idea, we connect with that desire. And when we believe, it's not that we're thinking or believing that God is going to come down and do something special for us. As I say, God has already done it. It's simply our awareness, and we simply accept what God is, what God has been, and we're accepting the principle of what is already done. And part of our belief is the ability to see beyond the limited self-perceptions that we've accumulated and recognize there is a power within us, the Christ within us, the God within us, that is our hope of glory, that is the divine pattern to everything that we want. Sometimes we may need others to tease that into our awareness and to activate that belief. You know, I have a photo of my father. And I don't have a lot of photos of him, but it's one photo that I keep in my room. And I remember, you know, some memories when I was very young. And I remember I was in elementary school, and, you know, we had an assignment. The assignment was, you know, to write some poetry. You know, I don't remember all the details of it, but I know I hated poetry. And I said, no way I can write any darn poetry. You know, I thought at the time, oh, that's what girls write poetry. We don't write poetry. We play football and stuff like that. You know, how limited my consciousness was at the time. Please forgive me. And he said, you know, you can do this. Don't you believe you can do this? I know you can do this. You believe you can do this, right? And I said, absolutely not. No, I can't do this. And he kept badgering me about it, and then eventually said, you know, I believe you can do this. Does that mean something to you? That I believe in you. And that activated something within me. And so we kind of co-wrote, you know, a poem together and, you know, submitted to the school, to the teacher. They put it in a little magazine. We got a little award for it. I say we because, you know, he helped me with it at the time. But the idea is that we want to capture that belief because it's already there. It's already done. We just need to capture it. So the second part of that formula of C plus B equals A is belief. Belief. And then we set ourselves up for the A, which is the achievement. And when it happens, it seems like it's like magic. Now, it's not magical. You know, all we've done is created the conditions that made the result inevitable. We captured a spiritual desire. We've affirmed it with our belief. We've uprooted it with our belief. We've strengthened it with our belief. I believe when we do that, we're capturing an inner vision of our desire that is for a greater good than our human self. In this process, we simply, at that point, do what comes naturally to us. We simply do what our Father's business is about in our day-to-day life. Now, it's not to say we just don't do anything. You know, like I said, we don't want to sit on our assets, so to speak. You know, as the Quakers say, we have to pray and move our feet. Or as we say in our fifth step, and we read every week, you know, take action. Action is when we get in tune with the divine flow and the divine process. And what we do in that divine flow, actually, the results become natural as we're moving our feet. Because as we're doing our part, as we're in tune with that presence, and we start doing our part the best that we know how, then things start happening, almost without trying. We open up a book. There's the answer to our problem. You know, we look around and we see a billboard and oh, I didn't realize that's what I'm supposed to be doing. You're suddenly walking down the street and they walk up to you and say, aren't you Reverend Trapp? I've been looking for you. Like I said, they wouldn't say that to you unless you look like me. But, you know, you get the idea. There's just at that moment, they recognize that you recognize something is coming to you. You're not trying to make it happen. And it seems like it's magic. And along the way, we use our tools, particularly affirmations, and affirm up with our affirmation. And affirmation simply adds firmness to our awareness, to our conscious oneness with the presence of God and all of its children, all of its qualities. It firms up our attunement with this divine flow, and we're not making it happen. We're not forcing it to happen. Rather, we're waking up to the realization that the divine has already happened in the mind of God, and we're just sitting in one with it. So this formula for demonstration, C equals conceive it. Access your true spiritual desire. B, believe it, even beyond the appearances. And then the achievement begins to happen. We often take our hands off of it, just kind of going about our business. So understand that this Father's Day, we have inherited the business of God. And that is manifesting and demonstrating the ever-expanding good through conceiving, then believing, and then achieving. And along the way, we take our action. We take our action that's in tune with this presence. And it's not just frivolous activity. It's not just trying to solve a problem on the level of the problem where people are going to say, oh, we got to do something about this. We got to make it happen. No, we just have to see the truth. And then we'll be moved by this spiritual presence. And then heaven and love and peace and harmony will begin to happen. Bridges will begin to be built between men and women and cultures and so-called races. And we'll all have the realization there's only one race, and that's the human race and the spiritual race. Sometimes we get caught up so much in the human three-dimensional race. As Lily Tomlin said many years ago, and I'm dating myself, that even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. Don't want to win that race. The understanding here is that we're here to be emanations of this God, Father presence. Responding, divine responders to this presence, to this loving energy. Coming out of the race of materialism only, but stepping into the glory of abundance and prosperity and opulence and joy and peace and harmony through spiritual demonstration. So we come together to agree. There is a divine pattern. There is a love here. This is a way of being here that's in tune with this bigger power. We can agree that that's so. And then we begin to feel our way into it. We feel at an inner level there is some already fulfillment there. There's the answer there. And from that moment, we will be manifesting heaven, which is ever expanding good, not a place, a state of consciousness. And our role is to simply keep coming back to that, keep coming back to that, keep coming back to that true desire, which is of God and our true self. And in our three-dimensional world, we don't ever try to solve a problem when we're upset, because we'll build ourselves a bigger prison. We don't try to solve a problem when we're off kilter. We don't move until with the idea, oh, we got to do something about this. I don't know if you have people that come up to you, got to do something about this now. Please keep those people away from us. Sometimes they're even office holders running for office. They'll say, well, it's crime in the streets. We need more money for police officers. Yes, we need police officers, but we also need peace officers. We need more money for vision. We need more money for schools. We need more money for opportunities for people to understand who they are spiritually. We need more money to understand spiritual values, and then there'll be a transformation like never before, because we're demonstrating the qualities of the Spirit of the living God. We're here to be about our Father's business. So if you didn't know it, you know it now. It's been given to us to reclaim this place through spiritual demonstration. It's already hid in our hearts, already hid in pure spirit. It is a mission possible to become those clear, pure places for its expression, its revelation, and demonstration. And as we begin to align with that and demonstrate that, healings begin to happen on all levels of life, between people, between cultures, our physical bodies, our emotional bodies, our spiritual bodies, because we're in league with this infinite something called the presence of God. And we get there when we practice the formula of demonstration, of conceiving, believing, and then achieving. Happy Father's Day to you. Just to let you know, the Reverend Deborah will be here next week as she will be talking about on the wings of prayer. She's going to be building upon this energy, coming from a different perspective. We're going to use all the tools we can to demonstrate what we're here to be. Now, there's an opportunity for us to support Spiritual Life Center. And we invite those who happen to be online, or you can even do here, because, the technology is kind of like, you can pay on the phone. You can, go to SLC Love. You can text it, SLC Love, to 44321. Or you can go to our website, SLC World, and donate in many different ways, including by mail. And we invite you and appreciate you in supporting it. And those who want to give, and when the ushers come forward, you can give in that way as well. And if you're watching online, as some folks still are doing, not only locally, but across the country, even outside of the country, we appreciate you. We thank you. If you want to help spread the message, just like, comment, or share wherever platform you happen to be on, or subscribe if that's appropriate as well. And so with that, I invite us to come together and say our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Well, we're going to leave you today with a very, very special song, and I want to tell you the story about this song that I heard. In March of 2020, just as the lockdowns were starting to go across the United States, the Elevation Worship Music Team met with their pastor for a songwriting session on a Friday. And they had worked for about 6 hours writing a song, and they were tired, and they were thinking about stopping for the day. And then the Spirit started nudging them. The Spirit started coming through them, and this song started emerging. And they stuck with that song and wrote it and decided it was so powerful that they were going to sing it that Sunday. A brand new song they just wrote. And that song during this past year has spread like a Holy Ghost fire across the whole world. Yeah. It's been sung in Arabic, in Hebrew, in Chinese, Japanese, Creole, all sorts of languages. You can go on YouTube and hear it all across the world.
I'm going to start it in drummies.
In drummies.
Drummies. Drummer-ease. I'm going to sing it in drummer-ease.
Thank you for your ever-present humor.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. You and keep you, make his face shine upon you. you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.
Yes, we receive you. Amen. You want to sing it with us?
Amen. Amen.
May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his presence
You know, that's the second time today I've heard that song, and it's just as deeply felt the second time as the first time. And thank you, Ann. And, you know, it's almost like, I know Larry was here earlier, it was almost like, wow, you did two people. Thank you. Thank you. Well, as we have come forward, we'll bless the tithes, bless the offerings, I should say, the givings, the offertory, as well as bless the prayers that have been put in the prayer box. We'll be bringing them before the service each week, and if you have a prayer, put it in the prayer box. We'll hold that consciousness for you, and then the prayers go off to silent unity for 30 days for additional prayer. So we bless those who have left prayers today, knowing that in the mind and the heart of God, they have already been answered on levels that we may not understand right now. We bless those who have been supporting this ministry and continue to support this ministry to help individuals transform their lives as we carry out our mission of loving, serving, and remembering. And as we do that, we anchor on earth the qualities of God and demonstrate the spiritual essence of who and what we are in this dimension. We are the vessels and vehicles of this presence as we go forth doing our part. And as we do our part, we know that Spirit provides the increase. It is done, so it is. Amen. Let us join together as we say our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now our peace song. That says it all. Peace and blessings to you. Have a great week.
Let's do World That Works. Maybe we can even jazz it up a little bit.
I gotta get the feel.